Other interesting political news, you have Mark Hamill saying to Joe Bi Wan Kenobi, which, again, he hasn't had a good hit since Corvette Summer. That was Mark Hamill peak. I mean, not just a movie with Mark Hamill, but it had a Corvette in it. I mean that was good agreements for a good movie. His career has been downhill ever since. Famously, he was in Star Trek for many years. Kidding. I know he's in the Wars of Stars or something like that. Now, again, this comes to us actually thanks to the Democrats, which is a Twitter profile. They say we'll also be voting for Joe Bi Wan Kenobi. And thankfully, it's only about 5 seconds long. And granted, he didn't suit up. At least Mark is wearing a button-up shirt, so he did something right. Again, if you see someone, it's usually a modicum of redemption to most folks. I like to think, or maybe I'm just a hopeless optimist. And I usually say his voice is infinitely better than mine. Debatable. So if you're just listening to this, you'll hear Mark, and he's interesting enough. They're leaning into the meme, which, again, maybe it's good marketing. They have the picture of Joe Biden's head, but it has laser eyes, which the campaign staff is actually using for marketing, which it's catchy and memorable. I'll give them that. And again, that's half of politics is who do you remember when you go to the booth? Now, this is a very, very contentious upcoming election, so I think everyone knows the names by now. I think that matters much more on a lower level in politics, but nevertheless, we'll go here. We'll hear Mark what he has to say.
Hey, I'm Mark Hamill, and I'm voting for Joe Bi Wan Kenobi. Hey.
What an F mice for marketing. So he has this. Well, they did spend some money on this little standee, a giant picture of Joe Biden's head. I don't know who wants that, but that looks like it. Man, that's quality plastic. So it's the plastic that actually is reinforced. It's not floppy. This is higher level than Hobby Lobby stuff. Granted, I don't think the people who vote for him go to Hobby Lobby, but nevertheless, it's an instance where you have two pieces of plastic, and in between, very similar to high quality cardboard, you have like a little mini accordion. So they paid some top-notch quality for that. And it also is multicolored. Every color you do, from an imprinting perspective, is an additional cost. And of course, you would also argue a feature. And they should have done a retake. So they have a light pointing at Mark. Again, a lot of people would argue he's going to the dark side of the Force, or some like funny Star Wars pun. He's come to the dark side, whatever this calls for. Slytherin stuff. Kidding, kind of. But the light on Mark is such position that it actually goes and is caught by the Biden standee. So instead of seeing at the very beginning, he's holding it at a perfect angle where you can see the different colors because it has a blue Joe Biden head with red laser eyes, and you can see it very well. So the camera person's doing somewhat of a good job here, and yet about halfway through it, Mark starts to tilt it, and it catches the light. So most of it is obscured. Then at the end, it gets even worse.
Hey, I'm Mark Hamill, and I'm voting for Joe Bi Wan Kenobi.
So at the very end is a good 30% of the picture of Biden where you can't see what it is. It's just the light. So again, and then again, it's probably been years since he did. Well, I'm trying to remember last time he did a good acting job. Actually, let me pull it up. When was the last time he had a good movie? Do a little extra entertainment education today. Let's see here. IMDb. What was his last hit? 1978. That's the last good movie with Mark Hamill. Again, that movie is Corvette Summer, directed by Matthew Robbins, with writers Hal Barwood and Matthew Robbins. And, spoiler alert, Mark Hamill was the star. Here's a really cool looking, well, obviously customized Corvette. And obviously it has to be about the summer. It'd be pretty disappointing it took place in the winter. Whole movie about it. So yeah, that's really when Mark Hamill peaked with his career, let's be honest. Well, I can't think most people in the audience in the world are really just big fans of Corvette Summer. They just kind of pretend the recent stuff he did. It's like, yeah, we want to make Mark feel good, so we'll pretend we like this wizard stuff he does. But again, this is good marketing. I say it because people worship Star Wars. It's almost a religion for some people. They go all in. They write fiction about the fan, or more accurately, fan fiction, some might say. And people will do what celebrities say on a myriad of topics, when it's a brand endorsement for a camera or vodka, or in this case, a political figure. I mean, and again, Mark's not the only one. There are people on the right, as well as the left, who do this to try to get votes for politicians. I really debate why you would. Some things, the only thing that makes sense in terms of a brand endorsement for a celebrity is if they're an actual someone who's they're actually proficient in the product or service that they're pitching. Like if Dwayne the Rock Johnson was saying, "Hey, I mean, he famously owns a tequila brand, which I don't even think he drinks too much. Why would I ever buy that? Makes no sense." Now, Dwayne the Rock Johnson selling steroids, that makes sense. He's the size of a gorilla and he's in his 50s. So if Dwayne the Rock Johnson said, "Hey, I'm using ABC steroid, put in your, shoot it into your ass and lift, and you can be like me." That's a product that would make sense. He clearly uses the product. He's proud about it, and he's an expert in that field. That might make sense. But in terms of politics, this does nothing for me. But will this change the mind of millions of Americans to vote for Biden? Again, people love Mark Hamill. They love Star Wars. Does that translate to the voting booth? Maybe a little bit. Let's see what the comments have to say. Got about, what was it? 643,000 views and 5.2 thousand likes, which, again, this wasn't directly Mark Hamill's account. This is from the Democrats' account. That's why I suspect it's not millions, because usually Mark will get high, low millions to a couple millions, depending on what he's posting. Donut Operator simply says, "How cringe. It got ratioed," because, again, Mark got 5.2 thousand likes. Donut Operator said, "So cringe," getting 6.7 thousand likes. See, you have Gibby Turismo. It's a famous picture of the scene with Luke, not Luke. What's the good actor in the movie? Well, that one you can't forget. Let's be honest. It's Harrison Ford. So it has Harrison Ford and Leia says, "I love you," and Luke was always gay. And Harrison Ford says, "I know." I got 1.3 thousand likes. So not off to a rocky start. Let's see. Let's just say the Womp Rats are winning, or in this case, maybe losing electoral wise. But nevertheless, Randy Savage says, "Democrats' new strategy is to eliminate their opposition by making them all die cringe," getting 2.4 thousand likes. Davis Opinion says, "More like evil fascist Emperor Biden. Meet Matthew Caligo. He left by his DOJ from a third position from the top to step down and join Bragg's 3 months prior to the Trump indictment." I got 432 likes, and thanks to Urban Dictionary, I know the youth might say that is sus. I heaven forbid it takes for action a second to say suspicious, but nevertheless. Let's see. Lori Ann says, "Expect to pay more in the next 4 years," and says since Biden took office. And so infographic says overall prices increased by 17.4%, food prices increased by 20.3%, rent by 18.6%, electricity by 24.3%, hashtag Bidenomics. Fortunately, they didn't give me a link to the statistics to verify, but nevertheless, they got 462 likes. Gonzalo says Mexicans discover a 1,000-year-old mummy. It's just, looks like Biden got 732 likes now. Conservative news feed says Joe Biden uses the Force to bring kids closer so he can snip them, getting 607 likes. Andy said the guy just made Star Wars lame, getting 933 likes. But fact check, it's been lame for quite some time. Pretty much ever since Disney got their rat claws around it, I would argue. Chris with a K, unique name, says this is serious cringe, getting 689 likes. The Mandarin says giving someone red eyes only makes them look more evil, getting 406 likes. Reddit Live says there's still time to delete this, bro. A little bro, getting 1.1 thousand likes. Meme Bastard says you guys really need to hire a meme guy, getting 112 likes. Michaela Rose says he looks demonic, getting 120 likes. Could this possibly be the fascinating statistic outlier of Chris Christie? A term I dubbed the Chris Christie effect is something I dubbed on the show, where he found twice he had posts in which he had 0 positive responses, which is statistically impossible. Presumably, Chris Christie, when he was running for a political office, Republican nominee, he has family, friends, campaign staff, presumably, and there's 2 instances where he had 0 positive comments. Not to brag, but I was about to say no, that does have to be on the YouTube, but nevertheless, statistically speaking, not all the time. There's usually no comments, but if you comment on this video, I'd greatly appreciate it. Or you like it or hate it, feedback is always appreciated, usually. Now, James Lindsay Full Varsity says this is Soviet propaganda, getting 718 likes. Let's see here. Let's see. B. Willie says, "We know, Mark, we know," and it's a picture of Yoda saying peacefully, and it says leftists being asked to show their Vax card to buy food, and angry Yoda is leftists being asked to show their ID card to vote. They got 118 likes, which, oh, whoopsies. More technical difficulties? Oh. I don't know, we have to seriously tear down the material and see what's going on here later today. Apologize for that. See what's going on here. Oh well. So yeah, will Mark really be able to convince people to go vote for Biden? Is that going to be a really compelling reason? Let me know in the comments. As always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, giving me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.